you see the metaverse as not just kind of gaming and VR and AR. You think that even some of the blockchain and the financial aspects and the owning of the information is a metaverse
Everything.
as well.
Everything, yes, absolutely, because it's all connected. And this goes back to your intro about DeFi, because if you think about it, the metaverse without DeFi is like saying, well, I'm going to make a Hollywood movie, but I don't need financing, right? It's absurd. One needs the other. That's how commerce functions. And so now the underpinning of the metaverse, of course, is DeFi, because all of these blockchain protocols are based on open and freely composable assets, which means that we can make a game, for example, an entertainment experience, and we can plug in DeFi protocols into it to allow players in those entertainment environments to take their assets and transmit them over to DeFi protocols so they can do fun things there. I give you an example. We made a game with Formula One called F1 Delta Time. As you would expect, it's a racing game. You buy Formula One cars, you race them around the track, you compete for prizes, all the things you would expect from a racing game. But some guys over at a company called NiftyFi, which is a DeFi protocol, lending protocol, they came up with a solution that, they give DeFi loans to people who are interested in, trading crypto, etc. And they accept F1 Delta Time cars as collateral for DeFi loans. And so you can go and collateralize your car, which is not unlike your experience in the physical world. You can take a second mortgage on your house, or you can, take a note on your car, but they do it through virtual goods. And the thing that's cool about that is we actually didn't have to cooperate with that company for them to do it. They can just choose to accept the asset, just the same way that the pawn shop down the street can choose to accept my gold watch as collateral if I want to get a loan there without having to ask, Rolex or whoever makes the watch, because these are open, freely composable assets that are owned by the players. And that's pretty cool.
And that really probably exemplifies this concept of the open metaverse versus the closed, because again, people can do this and you're not trying to control them from doing it or not doing it or doing it through your platform. And I know you've got some really cool examples with Rev and your sports games where your cars are sometimes worth more than an actual, say, Lamborghini, and yet also you get yield on them because you can rent them out and you can get fat financing on them, probably more you can get on your Lambo. And it's a pretty incredible parallel for some people to really understand maybe what's going on with this digital space, and that it's real in that sense. And the economics are better than owning a massively depreciating Lamborghini in your garage. So that's very interesting. Just to finish off on the metaverse, so you see Bitcoin is part of the metaverse and Ethereum is part of the metaverse because it's basically an exchange of information and value that's maybe not in person, but it's a digital communication. So it's just as much the metaverse as a game or a WhatsApp group or a VR experience.
Yes, absolutely. Well, because the metaverse itself we think of the metaverse, the parallel for the metaverse is like the world. And the world is a really big place full of diversity and different communities. So, for example, we have a very well-received game called The Sandbox, which a lot of people call the Sandbox a metaverse because it's a sort of Minecraft-style UGC environment, user-generated content environment, and you can build stuff and you have virtual land and it feels like a world unto itself. But that's actually not the metaverse. The way we view it is that's like a city. It's like New York City in the metaverse, right? And there are going to be lots of other cities. There are going to be cities where people speak Japanese and Chinese and Russian and all kinds of other languages. So there are going to be many metaverses that will be within the overall metaverse, if you understand my meaning there. And so what Bitcoin and Ethereum and these tokens are essentially just like currencies that we have around the world. And Ethereum is more, I would say, like your US dollar. It's currently the most widely accepted and widely used amongst the many metaverses. And Bitcoin, as people have always said, is a lot like gold. So it's literally the gold standard of the crypto world. And different metaverses also have their own reference currencies. So within the Sandbox, you have sand. And the more utility and the more activity and the more vibrant the GDP of that individual metaverse, the more valuable the currency of that place, just like in the physical world.
That's a fascinating way to describe it. And it really helps because I think a lot of people do think the metaverse is sandbox. They think,
Yes.
oh, that's the metaverse over there where I go in and it's this reality that I create, and Snoop Dogg's building his mansion over here, and there's a billboard over here, and everyone's doing land grabs, and that's the metaverse, or this is the metaverse, and this other stuff isn't. But that's not the way you look at it. Any type of that kind of digital interface is the metaverse, and then there's different versions of it, different
Of
cities.
course.
Okay.
Yeah, because for some people, like we're here in London, and I'm sure there are people in London who've grown up here and never left, and for them, London is the world. And for other people, it's just one of many cities. So it depends on your lifestyle, and I think people's digital lifestyles are exactly the same.